Hey, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And I'm going to be commenting on this take that pop icon Billie Eilish has given in a recent Vogue interview in relation to hip hop. And these comments are rubbing a lot of people the wrong way, and rightfully so. Frankly, I'm kind of disappointed, especially given that Billie has gotten so popular so quickly, racked up all those Grammys, has a lot of influence. On top of it, she seems to have made quite a few friends with rappers in the industry. She is growing up during a time where hip-hop truly is the zeitgeist. You would think that her thoughts on this would be a bit more insightful, but I guess not. The portion of the interview here that we are focusing on, that everyone has been focusing on, is this part where she is talking about storytelling and fibbing in song, specifically her songs, saying, just because the story isn't real doesn't mean it can't be important, which is a sentiment I personally agree with. Just because a story you put in a song may be made up doesn't mean it can't have meaning, doesn't mean it can't convey something significant or important or emotionally impactful. I agree. There's a difference between lying in a song and writing a story. There are tons of songs where people are just lying. There's a lot of that in rap right now. From people that I know who rap, it's like, I got my AK and I'm fucking. And I'm like, what? You don't have a gun. And all my bitches. I'm like, what bitches? That's posturing. And that's not what I'm doing. Okay, a couple of things to pull apart here. One, let's not conflate terms. Lying and posturing are two different things. And even though there is a bit of overlap there, because there is some misleading involved in posturing, they have different, I guess I want to say, connotations. Because sure, while someone can posture in such a way where they want you to believe something that is not true, whether it be in real life or in a music video, still, when Beyonce presents herself to us as a literal queen, that is posturing. When the band Ghost presents themselves to us as a satanic metal cult, even though we know they're just a bunch of Scandinavian dudes, that's posturing. And when Billie Eilish presents herself to us as this creepy, freaky, weird, smiley, demonic teenage girl on the front cover of her new record, that's posturing. Because at the end of the day, we know that you're not the bad guy. And look, there are a lot of rappers who get strapped up for the music video, put on a lot of ice that they could barely afford, rent out some cars that they don't own, get invited to the Versace mansion that they don't live in, and then they shoot the music video there. And that's posturing too. This isn't to say that lying doesn't happen in hip hop, but of all the things to pick out as a lie, I mean, when I listen to, let's say, Zillakami spit a verse about how he's going to just like spray bullets indiscriminately at some specified location, I don't come away from that song thinking, he actually didn't shoot up a mall. He actually didn't shoot that place up. That's a lie. Liar, liar, pants on fire. No, obviously it's an embellishment. Obviously, he is using artistic license to create an outrageous situation to shock the audience. That's the point. That's the intent. It's not an outright lie. It would be another thing if the rappers who you say that you know here were like, yeah, I'm fucking this person, I'm shooting this AK, and like at home, I don't know, they're a Mormon and they spend their weekends playing Yahtzee. I suppose that would be one thing, but look, hey, despite the fact that Rick Ross, we know that he used to be a CO, he is well within his right to come on record and build himself up as much as he would like to be a drug kingpin or whatever, even though we know that that's not true. And just because there are rappers out there like Rick Ross who do what they do, there are still a lot of hip-hop artists out there who are telling true stories about their lives and their real-life experiences. And because that is the case, you should take this stuff case by case and not just hit the whole thing with broad strokes where you're like, oh, there's just so much lying going on in hip hop. where truly and honestly, all you're really doing is applying a double standard, because these embellishments that I talked about earlier with these artists, for the average audience, no one wants to hear some ordinary shit going down in a song because that's not entertaining. So your average pop star has to embellish their sexuality, has to give the audience a visual or the impression that they're sexier or cooler or more interesting than they are. Your average rock star has to look cooler and edgier than they actually are in real life. Your average metal artist or band has to look darker, more menacing, more evil than they actually are in real life. What is Marilyn Manson if not pure posturing? Even Gigi Allen, for all the blood, feces, and nudity, there was an element of performativeness to everything that man did in the public eye. So to insinuate that posturing is the same exact thing as lying, and that you are not posturing, and that you're not creating some kind of double standard here, to me, is just silly. And finally, let me say, let's not act as if there isn't, I guess, a bit of a racial component here that I think is very much informed by cluelessness and a lack of, I guess, intimacy that a lot of white people have with what I guess you could say is the black experience. Because unfortunately for a lot of white people, hip-hop ends up being the singular window that they have to black people's everyday lives. And hip-hop on the whole is not reflective all the time of the normal, average, everyday lives of people of color in America. So when you come to learn, oh, it's actually not like all the songs I've heard. Oh, it's actually not like all the music videos I've heard. Some people feel as if, like what is being implied here, as if they're being lied to. When in art, in mainstream entertainment, everyone is exaggerating something that they would wish for the audience to buy into. Whether that be I'm sad, I'm heartbroken, I'm sexy, I'm angry, I'm threatening. Even though hip-hop is, in a lot of respects, a unique genre, and storytelling and personal perspective are deeply ingrained into this style of music, that's also the case for other genres too. I don't think hip-hop should be held to a different standard of truth expectation than every other style of music. Now, part of the reason I do give Billie a slight pass on this is that because she is young, she's most likely naive, nobody at this age knows everything. And if I did pose this issue to her in that way, she would most likely say, yeah, I don't think hip-hop should have a double standard applied to it. But I do think her comments are reflective of how implicit that double standard is without people even really thinking about it. You know, these biases have been internalized for decades and decades and decades and need to be sort of thought about deeply in order to break it down and understand when it's there and when it is making you perceive things a certain way. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of these comments. You're the best. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Billie Eilish, forever.